Okay. So I wanted to interview you for a couple of reasons. So number one, I'm back.
Good one.
And I'm back, and you're like one of the best mentors I've ever had. And so
Appreciate that.
with some of the cool things going on in the company, you've kind of said some things over the last couple of weeks where I'm like, man, we really need to like capture this time and also some of the things from the past that like I just think a lot of people need to know. And then ironically, when we decided to do this, International Women's Day is in a couple days.
All right.
And so you are both a mentor and a woman. So what better time than now,
Right. All right.
right?
Sounds good. I'm checking all the boxes.
Right? So to warm up,
Yep.
and you don't have to be super polished to warm this
Okay.
conversation up. Give me like generates elevator pitch, right? If you just had like 15 to 30 seconds to share what we do at Generate, what is that?
Generate uses promotional items and apparel to make your brand stand out and shine. So we do it creatively, we do it on trend, and we make your brand look great.
I love it. So why does that matter to you? Like, where did the passion for this stuff kind of come from?
Yeah, I tripped into the industry. It was not on purpose. But I was doing other marketing jobs and I always found myself going back to promo. I loved it. And when I was looking at promo and looking at items, it was never just as a giveaway or a handout. It
Hmm.
was always with strategy involved and an outreach. And I'm a girl who loves a theme. I love a theme. So it was with a theme and it was with an overlying plan on how to get that item to actually give back. And
Hmm.
it was only when I actually got into the industry that I realized that that was not normal for the industry. Even the industry was still very much like, here's a pen, hand it out.
Hmm.
So it was kind of a very new slant at the time for the industry. And honestly, here we are many, many years. We won't say just yet exactly how many years later, but here we are many, many years later. And that's still, to a great degree, that's still the case on how people see promo. And
Yeah.
as I see that continuing, is more and more my passion to change that and show people how powerful these tools are when you use them creatively and properly and with a greater plan in mind. So it's why we want to help people elevate their promo and really make it something you're spending your budget on it anyway. Why
Yep.
shouldn't it be giving back, especially when it requires no extra energy, time, or brain power from our clients? Because that's why we're here.
Yeah. I like to say here lately, like, let me be your promo personal shopper because
Right,
I can do it faster and also with your budget in mind. And you're not going to
right,
go down the rabbit hole that we tend to with this kind of
right.
stuff. Yeah.
And with the expertise of knowing that this pen and this pen may look alike, or this drinkware piece and this
Hmm.
drinkware piece may look alike. They
Yep.
may be priced similarly, but there's these differences that you need to know about to figure out which one really fits your brand. And not only
Yeah.
that, but we do keep on top of the trends. We do see what's coming. Our other team member, Christina, is extremely good at that and brings that to the table and helps us know that minimalism is on the way out and maximalism is on the way in.
Yep.
And how do we make sure that what we're presenting to clients, what we're showing people, is reflective of what's going on in our communities, in our world, and in our industry?
Yeah. So one thing I love about working with Generate, working with you, even when I wasn't working with the company, it was like your passion, right? Like your passion for the industry, but also your passion for business. And I've seen that kind of show up in a lot of ways. So number one, how long have you been doing this? When did Generate start?
So Generate started in 2008, and I
Okay.
started in the industry a year before that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you didn't have it.
I was not in the industry very long, and I know for anyone who knows me that this is not shocking. I was not in the industry for very long when I said I could do this better on my own and
So,
just kind of
well, and
dove
you
in.
have, right? So, like 2008, flash forward to 2025, like we're going to
That
need to
seems
start
like a
playing.
really long time when
Well,
I'm
it's
only
almost
when
20
I'm only in
years,
my early 30s.
right? Well, it was funny when I came back, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary in a couple
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, it's
which is
crazy.
wild. So
Yeah,
almost 20 years doing it on your own, right? Not on your own because you have a team and people and all
I have
the
a
things.
team.
But
I have people.
yeah, what's kept you like excited about running Generate, growing Generate, evolving Generate? Like, right? Because a
Yeah,
pen, right? In theory.
right, right.
So with
Yeah,
kind of the
that's
same stuff around, how do you stay
yeah. No,
excited?
that's a good question because I do struggle with focus from time to time. And early on, when Generate started, it was kind of more of a hobby. I wasn't as
Like a
focused as
start, it was like a startup, like
it was a
a
startup,
side
right? And
hustle.
it was kind
Yeah.
of just a little sideline business. But when I first started it, I did not realize that it
Yeah.
would become what it's become because at the time I didn't need it to be. It was fine to be a hobby. And I was pretty easily distracted by other shiny things. And, maybe I could also do this business or that business because I'm very entrepreneurial just in general. I'm a creator. So,
Yeah.
and there were times when it was hard to stay focused. I think because promo is ever changing we get to work with a million different companies. So in a lot of ways, when we have those clients that really make that connection with us, really partner with us and love our ideas and allow us to be creative and bring that to the table, it's almost like we're starting new little businesses all the time. So
Yep.
I think that's what's kept me really engaged and really excited about this is it's new every day. It's different every day. And whether we're creating for us and deciding what our next move is and where we want to go with things, um,
Yeah.
or whether it's doing that for clients and helping them to concept their next strategy and their new outreach, it's brand new all the time.
I love what you just said about it's like we're starting new businesses all the time. And that's so true. And I've never heard you like say it quite that way. When I was in my last role, I had an executive coach who did like a personality test and all of that. And it was funny because one of the results, and it reminded me of you, was that I get bored quickly. And that like doing the same thing year after year when you're in a
Right.
more like traditional role, right?
Yeah.
Where you just kind of recycle things year after year. And it's so funny that you said that. And I think that that's what's always pulled me back to Generate is this ability to come in and be entrepreneurial
Yeah.
and really like not choose who we work with, but like there are certain industries that really excite us. And
Right.
I love how you just phrased that.
Well,
I
good.
love
Yeah,
how you
and
just
I mean
phrased that.
we can also take on passion projects too, right?
Yeah.
So, if I'm very passionate about dogs and I love working with rescues and,
Yep.
helping them and we've we've rolled that into many things over the years, including our own fundraisers and different things that we've
Yep.
done for outreach. And sure, I love it when it has a marketing component to it. There is nothing wrong with um, pursuing your passions
Hmm.
and giving where you can give and still getting a little recognition for it, right? Because,
Yeah.
cause marketing has become a huge thing. And even within the industry, and I think that too is another way that things stay fresh, is the fact that the industry is ever changing. We have
Yeah.
more name brands now and more like large companies that we can partner with, and many of them have their own give
Yeah.
back programs. So without having to kind of create the whole program by ourselves, we can do things like shelter to soldier. Let me do that again. We can do things like shelter to soldier that help to bring dogs out of shelters, train
Yep.
them, and get them to a returning soldier who maybe suffers from PTSD or has other health issues that they need a service dog for. And
Yeah.
we didn't have to create that program. That was created by one of our vendors. So we can just present that to our other clients who have similar
Yep.
passions, and they can then help and be part of the change that we all want to see. So,
Yeah. Coming back after not being with Generate for the last 6 years, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I've noticed that so much more kind of evolve over the years. I mean, we just met with our, lip balm and personal care vendor a couple weeks ago, and their focus on bees,
on these,
right?
yeah,
And also the materials that products are being made out of and like focusing on sustainability. And like what you said, we don't have to recreate the wheel. We have these
right,
partners who are doing that and we can pass along benefit to our clients, which is really
right.
cool. Which is really
Yeah, and
cool.
to be fair, a lot of those vendors have a lot larger and more global reach than we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
We've grown a lot, but we still don't have Stanley's global reach or Basecamp's global reach.
Right.
So, being able to piggyback off of what they have in place, but still
Yep.
be a part of that momentum and still be a part of that, that effort is great. And again, going back to not getting bored, because it's hard for entrepreneurs not to get bored. So going
Yep.
back to not getting bored, that's another way that we don't get bored with what we're doing,
Mhm.
because that is all part of it as well. And we can have different call outs and put our focus in different places and know we're doing some good. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
And that feels good. It's like a
It
reason to
does.
jump out of bed, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned your entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm so glad I just said that really well and right off the tongue. Your entrepreneurial spirit a couple times. Where did that come from somewhere? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I remember playing make believe when I was a kid and making up businesses, and my cousins and I running fake restaurants and making menus, and the creative side of that was always something that I loved.
Mhm.
So I don't know if the entrepreneurial part is probably just uh goes hand in hand with my overall creativity and crafty and
Yep.
busy brain, my what some might call AAA personality, where there's always little OCD, little ADD, little control freak, a little bit of everything going on there. So that kind of that AAA cocktail that
Mhm.
keeps me excited and a little hyper from time to time. So I think that's a big part of it. But I think also like going back to the idea of it being, coming up on Women's Day and a little bit of a focus on that, as I come from a background of like just intensely strong women and
Yeah.
independent women. And my great aunt and my grandmother ran a business in the 30s and 40s when women didn't do that, and my great aunt in particular ran it with an iron fist, baby. She was there. I mean, it's not politically correct to say it now, but she was a tough old broad, is what she was. And she lets you know it. So I mean, I come from some of that too. So there is that. I was around and shown those examples of really strong women.
I love that. I love that. So, kind of shifting gears from like where we came from, where you came from, those kinds of things. What are you really excited about right now? Like, what's going on in the business? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, so many things. And I mean, we're a juggling act right now. We are more of a circus and less of a company right now with everything going on. We've got so many great things happening. We have big goals this year. We're really excited about our new branding efforts, our new
Mhm.
rewards store and referral program. We always get geeked out and excited when we've got our own new self promos coming and getting to see our logo on new things. Again, as you know, we just expanded into a larger warehouse space that we're already sort of busting out at the seams for the warehouse part of it, because we decided to take that extra space to make our own team space to have a place to meet with clients and meet with one
Yep.
another. So we're looking to actually get a cargo container so that we can overflow the warehouse stuff and keep our beautiful little space going. So we're excited about that. Just you and I kind of going with that new business model
Yep.
that we want to pursue, where we're doing a little bit more workshops and travel and speaking
Yeah.
engagements, and doing some of that. You are actually a big part of it. We've been asking ourselves for the last few months, because we're in a growth phase.
Yep.
And one of the questions from my business coach was, why do you want to grow right now? What does growth mean to you? Because frankly, the company was in a super comfortable spot.
Yeah.
We didn't need to really grow or expand. And a big part of that is actually you, and Christina as well, because when you went off to pursue some other things,
Yep.
and we knew, your return strategy was worked into part of your exit strategy, right? We started talking about when you come back before you were ever
Yeah.
gone. Um, but the words that you said when you wrote me a beautiful note about what my mentorship had meant to you, and I honestly didn't realize. the impact that I had maybe had. And it was very extremely meaningful to me. And being able to continue to do that is a big reason for us to grow. I don't have kids. I don't have anyone to leave the company to someday. And it is my legacy. So I want these amazing women like yourself, like Christina, that someday when I'm ready to kind of step back, that I can go, here you go, keep this going, grow it your way, grow it,
Yeah.
grow it now to your vision, versus our vision, and make it what you need it to become. And, that's extremely exciting to me, and is way better than just growing a business for money. Like, money's nice.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I would
Keep
like to
placing
have
orders.
a, yeah, I would like to have a custom, completely upgraded, like late 70s, early 70s Bronco. And, sure, I have things I'd like that money can buy, but it's not the most important thing. This is the most important thing, and helping our clients and changing the industry and helping to make it more inclusive. And that is all a big part of what gets me excited every day. And that's all part of the change. It's all part of what's still coming, and why we want to grow, and why we want to be a leader within this space.
I love that. And you are a leader in this space, which is really cool. Like that's really cool.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty cool.
I have some of the typical women imposter syndrome things, so it's hard for me to.
We all do,
I
right?
know,
But
right? We
that's why we
struggle. We
remind each
shouldn't.
other.
We do.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Yeah.
We shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we wrap up, I have one more question for you.
Sure.
What advice do you have for me or for other people who are like trying to build a book of business, right? It doesn't like, I'm doing promo print and branded apparel, right? That's my focus. But other people might be building an insurance company or a wealth management firm or an attorney. What advice do you have to us that are just kind of getting started or restarted when like reaching out to clients or trying to build that book? What advice do you have?
Ooh, stay true to yourself. Know
Okay.
who you are. Very few of us can sell effectively if we really don't love and geek out and get excited about,
Yeah.
what we're selling. You have to have that passion. And if it's not a passion, I have a really good friend of mine who's an insurance agent, and very few people can get excited about insurance, right?
Right.
And, but he does because he knows he's helping his clients. He knows he just
Yeah.
explained something about insurance that you never knew before, that he just helped you to understand, and just made your situation better and made you safer as a result. So you have to find what you're passionate about within
Mhm.
whatever it is that you're building, and stay true to that passion.
Yeah.
Mission and vision statements got to be like all the rage, what, back maybe as much as 10 years ago, that was the big
Yeah.
thing. It remains important to this day. You have to have those guidelines to know what you're staying true to. So, and, aside from like staying true from that, be excited about it, do the things you believe in, don't cut the corners. Those would be some of the things, but also don't get frustrated. You have to keep going. Those big breaks are not generally not going to show up organically. We make our own breaks. And again, I know
Right.
that sounds really like recycled, but it's true that,
Yeah.
that whole, like, the harder I work, the luckier I get, is a true statement. You
Yeah.
have to put in the work and the time, and you're not going to get it all, but what you get is going to be worthwhile, right? And you're going to turn what you get into something else. So yeah, just stay true to yourself, and don't get frustrated.